It's the 16th of August, about 4 o'clock in the morning in Pattaya, Thailand. I'm Scott McLean. I'm the content creator of the YouTube channel Pondering in Pattaya, dedicated to helping people trying to live their best life possible. I'm going to change the direction of my channel as of today. I will no longer have a regular segment of shout outs, talk about my boring life in Pattaya. I will now turn my content mainly to my life in the music business, which started in 1972. I was at Watkins Glen Festival, either 72 or 73, I can't remember. And I was here with my girlfriend Jerry, who was from LA. She was the daughter of a Northrop engineering family, but she was more of a gangbanger. Even though she wasn't a Mexican, she was into Mexicans, and she had lots of Mexican-style gang tats on her legs. And we were here together. We hitchhiked from Colorado Springs to Atlanta, where I had a 1966 BMW TII 1800, and we drove it to Boston. The clutch plate was very questionable in the car. We went to Watkins Glen to see the Grateful Dead, the band, and the Allman Brothers. And we got separated at the concert. We eventually ran into each other again. We weren't getting along very well. We drove to Boston with this very compromised clutch plate on my car. And when we got to Boston, we had virtually no money, and I had only one asset, and it was a box of records that I had at a friend's house. And I took the box of records, took it out to Harvard Square, took it to Holyoke Center, and I sold the records out of the box for $2 a piece. And there were some really good records. There was like original Frank Zappa's on Verve, and some great jazz, small label jazz, angry black jazz. But I sold them. And we went to Colorado Springs, and about 4 months later, I returned to Boston, same boat, not much money, and I decided to put an ad in the Boston Phoenix, looking to buy records and resell them in Holyoke Center. And that was my genesis of getting in the music business. I think it was the summer, I want to say it was the summer of 1973. I met my two future partners in my record stores, Lanny Rice and Joel Bernstein. Joel had just recently graduated from BU Law School, but being a lawyer was not cut out for him. He was a very good businessman, but incredibly antisocial, misanthropic, and selling records in Harvard Square next to me with his own boxes. And the other guy there was Lanny Rice, who was let me think, how old was Lanny? Lanny was around 30. He was a lecherous high school teacher in Maine who had a penchant for having his students stay after for extra work. And he was a character. He was a major character. And the three of us and another guy named Don Shaw, who was from Huntington, Long Island, started selling records individually, but in the same row on Holyoke Center. And we did that for a couple of years, but we would constantly be harassed by the police. The Harvard cops would run us off of Holyoke Center, and then there was this big Italian cop who was like a street beat patrolman named Benny, who was like 6'8", and he represented the Cambridge force. And he represented the Cambridge merchants, who really didn't like the fact we were independent operators. And it was a hassle, and it went on for ages. And we got very inventive. We took, most of the time people thought, oh, these poor darlings are selling their own records, but we weren't. We were openly soliciting for records on the Boston Phoenix, and then taking them home and cleaning them and getting them ready for resale. at least 100% profit, but sometimes more. We started to get into doing rare record conventions, which were just starting. We sold at the Hotel Americana in, not Georgetown, but next to Georgetown in Washington. And we sold records like Yardbird records, originals. Back then they were, $6 to $8, maybe 10. Now they're $50 and up, more in the new market. And we did this for a couple of years, man. We did this for a couple of years. I was driving a cab full-time in Boston, supplementing my income with this stuff. So that's the end of the first chapter of this annal, which I will provide you with lots of yucks, true stories, not conventional. I was not in the conventional music business, which I'll explain in further installments of this. Scott McLean's life in the music business. And it goes on from 1972 or 3 up to mid-teens of the 21st century. So like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pondering in Pattaya, which is now dedicated to my life in the record business, which will give you a lot of side-splitting experiences, I assure you. Sawadee Kap, Sawadee Be My Kap, Chodi Kap, and all my love to you.